So we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to and welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark, and I am joined by these two gentlemen here, Jim from Mystery and Mayhem and Alan from Alan's Reads. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hi, Mark. Good, thanks.
Doing well. Thanks,
Wonderful.
Mark.
We have a few
Good to see
comments
you.
already. One of them is your wife, Jim, checking up on you.
Hello, Lionel.
Don't worry, Lionel. He's here with us. He's not doing something he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I'm on holidays this week, and she actually wasn't able to get the week off, so she's at work.
Oh,
yeah.
So every morning you're like, bye-bye. Is the car working now, Jim?
Well, see, that's the last couple of weeks it's been not a good week. We had to get a new car, like new to us anyway, because the car I had kind of gave up the ghost, and so we had to work on getting a new car. And we finally, it's all straightened out, and thank God for that. You know, what a pain in the ass that was, but you know, we're good now.
We're good to go. Cool.
Yeah.
Jenny's here as well. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Helen's here too. Hello.
Hello, Helen.
Hi, Helen.
Farah's here as well.
Hey, Farah.
Hey, Farah.
And Pat. Pat is with us as well.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Yes.
Good to see everyone here. Yeah.
That's
a good crew of people right there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, definitely. So how's your working week been, Alan? Has it been good? Are you glad it's over?
Always glad it's over. Yeah, it's not been too bad. I've had a couple of reports submitted this week, so they've gone off to clients for clients to comment on, and then come back and tell me that no, I've written it all wrong and I need to rewrite it. It's normally what happens.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah.
You work from home, Alan?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I'm self-employed, so I work for myself and work from home. So unless I'm visiting clients, I'm sitting in this very chair.
That's nice, though, to be your own boss like that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, you set your own work hours, and
that's why you can pop off to town centre to the bookshop in the middle of the day, I guess.
Well, I had an optician's appointment this morning, so
yeah. Well, we've got a few people watching, so I will make a little announcement at the beginning. I hope it doesn't put too much of a downer on things, because I know he wouldn't want it to. But I was just saying to these gents before we went live that I've had a message from Sean D. Standfast, and unfortunately he's been admitted to hospital. It's quite serious, but he was at least talking to me, and he was waiting for the ambulance. But I did get a message just before we came on that he's actually been officially admitted. I don't know for how long. I did say, I hope you've got something to read. And he said, yeah, I've got a CIMAC book. And I was thinking, well, he's banking on it being a short stay then, I guess, because they're not the longest things and whatever. But yeah, I just thought, you know, some of you would like to know about Sean.
So. I don't know if he's listening, but Sean, we're thinking of you.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully you're
well soon.
Yeah.
It's been a shame, you know, because he's been so absent, of course, recently off events and BookTube. And, you know, I know for him, especially, it's a hard thing to do because it is one of his big outlets. You know, he doesn't go out much, and BookTube is very much a big part of his life. So yeah, hopefully he is able to watch us and see. I don't know if they're allowed phones or not.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Because it used to be the case. You weren't, were you?
Oh no, you used to have to turn them off at the door, and you know, if you were seen using one, you'd get accosted by a member of staff, and no uncertain terms told to turn it off. But no, you can take phones in now, and you know, they've got free Wi-Fi, and so it's
I guess it's really changed, because I remember in the late 90s, you know, when people were just starting to use them, everyone was always talking about they'll cause brain tumors and stuff like this, and then you never hear anything. You never heard anything more about it. It's like it just disappeared. So you know. But yeah, we got a few messages coming in. Joseph is here. Hello, everybody. Jenny saying hello to everyone. Helen reacting to Sean. Yeah, he sounded okay. I mean, Yeah, it's a bit serious. I think I don't want to go into too much detail about what he said to me because I don't think it's fair. But the doctor was with him this morning or earlier today and said that you better be admitted to hospital. Of course, it took them several hours to actually send an ambulance to actually admit him. So I suppose that's a little bit hopeful that it wasn't super serious. But
I don't know now, but I heard wait times are like worse than they ever have been. Like I don't know what it's like over there, but here it's like you just so many more people, and the wait times are atrocious. Not like what they used to be.
No.
Yeah.
Jenny was about to message him as she hadn't heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
Farah, sorry to hear about Sean. Hopefully they'll take good care of him there. I'm sure they will.
He's where he needs to be right
exactly.
now.
Yeah, it's probably the best place for him.
And I was saying to you, Mark, before we came on, you don't message people. You don't think to message people, and then by the time you think of it, I've got to message such and such a person, it's so much time has gone by.
Yeah.
And I'm bad for that, for staying on top of, contacting people and just saying, hey, how you doing? And I have to
I had a friend, and he was a fit guy. He was ex-army. He was South African, and he'd married a Czech woman, and we'd met on this course, and we were good buddies. But when he contacted me, he always wanted to come over. We'd go out, and we'd always get steaming drunk. And one day he messaged or called, I can't remember, and I saw I'd missed that was it. I saw I'd missed the call, and I'd call him back, but I didn't. The next thing I knew, I had a message in my Facebook. It was literally like 2 weeks later from South Africa, from his sister, saying, he'd talked a lot about me, all this kind of stuff, and she thought I'd like to know he was dead.
Oh boy.
And, and it was a heart attack. And he was like a fit guy, and he had 2 small kids, and he was, I think, 40 at the time, 46, 47, maybe max. Horrible. So you never know. And then, of course, I live with that fact that I didn't call him back, right? I'm like, not that it would change anything, of course, but, it's hard. Roy's just tuned in. What's happened to Sean? He's been admitted to hospital, Roy. Helen, they used to say phones affected the medical equipment. Yeah. Jenny, it's not Elvis, actually. I have a feeling it's probably Alan's dogs.
Oh, yeah, it is. I didn't realize you could hear them.
It's not too bad. So it's not bad at all. Don't worry about it.
Good to see Roy on here. Hi, Roy.
It is. Yeah, we've got a good bunch on as per usual. Of course, Alan's missing and Jim's missing, but they're here, so that's all right. So, gents, I know Sean, of course, would want us to carry on as normal. So, I'm wondering, Alan, how's your reading week been? Because we should talk about books. Because last time Jim and I were on, we actually didn't. I think. So,
yeah, but it went well though.
It was nice.
Yeah. I've had quite a good week actually. So the 2 books that we were reading for your book club, Mark, I've finished those. One, the True Grit. So, I had to get that finished because it was a library book and I had to take it back or I had to return it. And I was quite pleased to see that, my experience of that book has been the 2 films, particularly the John Wayne films. I was really pleased to see that actually, having now read the book, that film's a pretty, it's a pretty faithful, representation of what was written. So that, and the Oxbow incident, which I think you've said in one of your videos, is not a typical Western by any means, and quite shocking in the way that, without spoiling it, the way it turns out. So and then where is it? It's over here. Excuse me. So I finished. If I can get that in shot.
Okay, Riding the Outlaw Trail.
Which is non-fiction.
It's Serrano Fines.
That's so cool.
It's 2 guys and a girl recreate the journey that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid made from Mexico all the way up to Canada. I have issues with it. Not because I didn't think it was a great adventure or anything, but it was one of those stories where if something could go wrong, it probably would, and it did. And although they'd fairly well researched the route and everything, they drastically underestimated the equipment they would need and the number of horses and things like that. And I wouldn't say they were being deliberately cruel to the horses, but the horses just went up to it. They're not the horses that they would have had in the 1800s. And
you mean the writers of the book? You mean?
Yeah, well, they
really?
Yeah, they undertook the journey and then I think wrote the book afterwards.
Interesting.
And I think, I don't know, it's really difficult to tell, but I was kind of thinking towards the end, why don't you just stop? Because like yet another horse has had to be taken out and they've had to buy another horse to replace it, and it was just getting to the point of just the horses aren't up to it, just stop.
Wow.
And I don't know whether they just felt they had to keep going because that was the only way. It was costing them a lot of money, and that's probably the only way that they were going to manage to get the money back by getting the publicity and getting a book and everything about it. So
when was this written, Alan? Just out of curiosity.
2004.
Oh, wow. Fairly recent.
Yeah, so not that long ago. But yeah, no, I mean, the book itself, it was a great tale, but I did get quite frustrated with the way that the horses were very much taking the brunt of their kind of ambition to get this journey done and the project done. And I don't because I don't think they were being deliberately cruel, but it's just they'd underestimated what it was going to take. And
well, it makes you wonder how the initial trip was taken by Butch and Sundance.
Well, I think some of that comes out in because it's interspersed with some of the historical facts, and I think basically Butch and Sundance, the horses were more fitter then and more up to that kind of day after day of riding, and they probably had more opportunity to swap horses out because there would have been sort of more ranches where they could have swapped the horses or stolen horses or and just there wasn't that facility for them, although they'd planned kind of where they were going to stop each night, and they had opportunity to kind of corral the horses and to a degree feed them properly. I think there would have been more opportunity for Butch and Sundance.
I mean, that's a good point, Alan, because I guess the infrastructure wouldn't have been there, would there? Because it's less done. Obviously, horse riding. You're right. There wouldn't have been the horse stations and the feed points and stuff.
Oh God, yeah. Back in the day, even in the cities, they had stables. Back in the day, you could,
blacksmiths to reissue and stuff like that.
Absolutely, it's all that sort of thing. And one of them was kind of having to like replace shoes when they came off, and I think they didn't want to have like they didn't want to be basically followed by a caravan of four-wheel drives and things like that. They wanted to do it as close as possible to what was done originally, and unfortunately that's just there's too much time has passed for them to do that.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting though. We have a couple of comments come in. Steve's here. Steve W. Evening. Helen, poor horses. MJ's here. Hello.
Hi, MJ.
And Jenny's like, try that now, and social media would go crazy. Yeah, they probably would.
That's why it surprises me. It's 2004. I could almost see that happening. It was like 1970s or something. In 2004 that happened. That this was happening to the horses, and that's cruel and abuse, and
So you mentioned Alan, you mentioned the film John Wayne won 1969 True Grit, and you've seen the other one.
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so your preference is the John Wayne one, was it?
Yeah, but I don't know whether that's just because I've seen that one more. I
Mm-hmm.
think I've only, what was it, 2010,
10.
the other one?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've only seen that once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of a bit sort of, maybe I need to I'm pretty sure I've got it on DVD somewhere. Maybe I need to rewatch it, just to be sure.
I'm with you, Alan. I grew up watching the John Wayne True Grit, and it's not like I think the other one's bad at all. I mean, like if I was to make a preference, it would be the John Wayne one. But I like, the thing is with Jeff Bridges that bothers me is any part that he has now that he mumbles. You really have to kind of focus on what he's saying, and especially in that part, speak up, elocute a little bit, But it was a good movie. But I do prefer the John Wayne one.
I made a video about it, which I haven't put out yet, but and I think, obviously I grew up watching the John Wayne one too, but I don't think I've seen it a huge number of times. And I look at it like this: to me, John Wayne's the better Rooster Cogburn, but the 2010 is a better movie for me, because I think the 2010 one is more truthful to the book, especially around the ending, because I don't want to spoil it. If you don't want to know, turn off now, everybody. But everyone's gone. But at the ending, she obviously she gets back after her injury, whatever, and she somehow gets home and all this stuff, and then later she goes looking for him, at the Wild West show. In the 69 version one, John Wayne takes her home. He takes her home. They look over the family burial plot. She's like, you could be buried here one day, blah, blah, blah. It's not in the book.
He starts jumping over the fences.
Yeah, he jumps over.
A fat old man sometime.
That's right, but it's not in the book, Whereas
I have a question now. Like, it's been a while since I read the book. Now, in the Jeff Bridges version, there was the mountain man scene where they run into this mountain man on the trail. That wasn't in the book, if I remember correctly.
No, you're right. It's not.
Right?
It's not in there.
And it made me wonder, like, why was that put into the book, and all the rest of it was fairly faithful to the book, and then they just added this scene with this mountain man, which I didn't get, but
I think it was probably something to do, because who were the directors?
Coen brothers.
Coen brothers. Yeah.
So maybe it was something to do with like them, like a kind of
just to make it their own unique signature.
Maybe some kind of stock actor they use, or some kind of Easter eggy thing. I don't know, but you're right, because he's all dressed in fur, isn't he? And he looks like he's eating like a cannibal or something. But actually, I've had something I've never had before. I've actually got a member join my channel. Thank you very much, Steve. It's very kind of you. Really nice.
Wow, congratulations there.
Thank you. You see, going up in the world. Thanks, Steve. Let's see. Faith says, yes, please say again how Sean is. I just tuned in. Faith, yes, he's been admitted to hospital. Don't know for how long. Doctor visited him earlier today, said that he would be better off going into hospital, so called an ambulance. And just before I came on, Sean told me he was at the hospital being admitted. So we obviously hope he recovers soon and is back with us. MJ, I love the True Grit audiobook read by Don. Yeah, that's what I did this time around, because I read the book. She does a good job. I mean, I have to say, she does a very good job. And she writes, I actually have it here. She writes an introduction to it in this edition, and then she actually does read she does the readings for it. But I did get annoyed by the whole now a major motion picture, because it's talking about the 2010 one, and I'm thinking it's been a major motion picture for the last 60 years. What are you talking about?
But I hear that audiobook is just awesome. I think I've heard MJ talk about it, and you talked about it, Mark, and a couple other people too. So I might have to pick that up.
Yeah, Farah's listening to it now.
So there's Farah,
and she's never seen either of the movies. So
you're gonna have to remedy that, Farah.
Yeah.
I do think, of course, John Wayne is a bit better. I mean, he says the whole "feel your hand, you son of a bitch" much better than Jeff Bridges does. He's a little bit shy, Jeff Bridges.
Takes the reins in his teeth, and he just Here we are talking John Wayne again. We were doing this last time.
Yeah, I know, but it's so good. I tell you, it's so good. I watched 2 Joel McRae's last night. Well, I haven't finished one of them, but he's good too. He's really good.
Did you watch that one I recommended, the Randolph Scott one?
No, because I started to watch it and I realized I watched it last year. I was watching like, this is really familiar.
Oh,
I watched so much last year, I forgot.
That was a really good movie.
Very good one.
That. Yeah.
Was it 7 Men?
7 Men from Now.
7 Men from Now.
And it just starts out so good, like you see this guy in the rain, and you just
goes up the mountain, there, hiding in the cave, getting warm. Yeah. And he mentions Silver Springs.
Yeah, he's good. Joel McRae's good too. I mean, did you ever see Ride the High Country? I think we talked about it last June.
I watched it last year because you recommended it. Yeah, Sam Peckinpah. Still haven't seen The Wild Bunch though. Wild
Bunch is good. Yeah.
But the Joel McRae one, the one I watched yesterday, I don't know if it's technically a Western. I guess it is. It's called The First Texan. He plays Sam Houston. And that was good fun. And then the one I started, it's called like The Son and Crown, or The Crown and Song of Crown or something. And he's a preacher in a small town. And it just starts off with him in the pub or in the saloon, and he's like, I come to talk about the word of God, and he starts reading and everybody's laughing. He just pulls out 2 pistols like that, and then suddenly they all shut up. And it's great.
Send me the title when you remember. I might look that one up. Was that him as an older man, or was that an early?
It's a black and white one. It's an early one. I'll tell you who's in it though. I don't know. You know the actor Dean Stockwell?
Oh yes,
from Quantum Leap.
Leap.
He's like a 12-year-old boy in it. It's hysterical. He's like a little kid.
He was a kid actor, Dean Stockwell.
Yeah. So, Helen, you could be buried here one day. Now that's a chat up line. Yeah, because she does in the '69 film. She kind of, and I do prefer Maddie in the 2010 one as well. I think she's better, but
she did a good job. Haley Steinfeld, something like that.
Was it
Steinfeld? She did a really good job. Yeah, like I said, I've got nothing wrong with the new movie.
I thought what's his name was good because I don't normally watch a lot of his movies.
Matt Damon,
yeah.
As LaBeef.
LaBeef.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alan, you're a football fan at all, but I was brought up a Chelsea fan, and they had a player called Frank Leboeuf when I was young. French player, completely bald, and every time I read it, I keep thinking of Frank Leboeuf. So, yes, I couldn't understand the word Jeff Bridges said. I love the John Wayne one.
Yeah, and he does that in all his movies now, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I'd like him to do kind of a Rooster Cogburn dude crossover. That'd be quite good.
See, I've yet to watch that movie, The Big Lebowski.
You've not seen The Big Lebowski?
I've never watched it.
All right. Dear.
I'll have to watch it.
This is what you should be doing when you have your holiday. What are you talking about? I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. There's too many, Mark. There's too many to watch over my holidays.
That's true. Speedy Recovery, I guess it's a Sean. It's rare that an author is good at narrating. May need to give it a listen. Yeah. Book stickers. Well, it's not actually a sticker engine. It's stuck on there. It's part of the printing. I can't do anything about it. It's not a sticker. So
I hate stickers on books. All the thrift stores slap a sticker on it, and I've spent all my week taking stickers off of books. It seems like, trying not to wreck the damn book.
It's interesting how Butch and Sundance continue being part of our mythology. Sam Shepard in Blackthorn played Butch living in Bolivia, and Lee Fawkes the Phantom. The Phantom. He teams up with Butch and Sundance.
I saw Blackthorn. That was pretty good. Interesting.
Farah says the interesting thing about Donna Tartt's audio is that you can hear. Yes, I noticed that actually, Farah. That's a good point. you can hear her when she's reading. She'll literally be like, as it turned out, which, but I listen on 1.5, so probably a bit different. But you can hear her breathing, that's for sure. Her passion and acting really do come through. That's true. Poor Sean praying for him. Yes. Get those wagons in a circle, pilgrims. Libra Paradiso. Wild Bunch is excellent. Emilio Fernandez, the Mexican general, made some of Mexico's greatest films in the 30s and 40s. Most westerns, unfortunately, none are known here in the US. Never seen The Big Lebowski either. I do hate stickers or fake stickers on books. Do it. I've heard WD-40 is good for getting stubborn stickers off. Yeah, well, I don't think I could use it on this book, though. I'd probably take the cover off, but yeah, it is annoying. What about because you bought some books today, Alan? Did they have? All right.
You can use butane works, lighter fluid, and Gugon works as well.
Okay.
But you almost have to soak the sticker.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't seem to harm the book. I'm always worried that some of it's going to bleed to the glue on the spine and the cover's going to come away. But so far that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So
some of the ones I got today had stickers on, but I got them off as soon as I got the books home.
I tried to.
They came off relatively easily. So
they say that a hairdryer works too. But I tried it a couple times. It didn't seem to work too well. But
using a hairdryer?
A hairdryer, yeah.
Because you got a hairdryer, Jim.
Oh, no, not my hairdryer. But my wife's got all that stuff.
Oh, okay, that's right. There must be a funny thing where you say, "Honey, can I borrow your hairdryer?" What do you need a hairdryer for? It's for the books. Oh, okay, all right.
Sure, rub it in, Mark. You with your wild head of hair,
right.
Wild mane.
I don't know. On top, it is thinning. Probably.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah. I might get by. I can comb over. Had a lighter fluid blowtorch without getting stickers off.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, dear, oh dear. So, Jim, what about your reading week?
Well, I've been reading a lot of westerns. I did on this one, which I love this book by Will Henry, The Seven Men at Membray Springs, and that was really good. I read Tough Hand by Wayne D. Overholzer, good writer. These are quick. These are very.
Is that his real name or is it a pen name?
Oh, see, I always look this up and then I forget. There's so many of these writers have their own pen names. I think that's his own name, but he has written under pen names and he has written co-written with other writers as well. Lee Florin, I think, is one of his pen names, I think. And then I read Buchanan's Gun by Jonas Ward. That's a series of books. And actually, these are really good. I really enjoyed this one. And I don't know if that's one guy or if it's other writers are taken on, but there's quite a few in this series. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. I started reading. Oh, said my battery's running low there. Thought I had it plugged in. I started reading Writers of the Purple Sage, but by Zane Grey. I don't know if I'll finish it. I mean, I've read it before.
Yeah,
I've read it before, but it's very beautiful writing. But I'm just in the mood for these pulpy, quick books. Westerns, traditional westerns, like pulp westerns. So let me check my battery. I'm going to see if I might here. Hold on.
No problem. No problem.
The Zane Grey is kind of next on my list. If I get to it. So yeah.
That particular one, or just
yes, that particular one. I've got a few of his as ebooks, so I thought I'd move on to those next. And that was the kind of first one that when I was looking through them, that was the first one that came up. So I thought, well, that's the next one then, and we'll see what happens with the others after that. But I've kind of been trying to juggle between that and, of course, it's Book Trek as well. So, you know, it's not much really sort of serious literature being read in this house at the moment. So,
oh, well, I mean, I think, to be fair, I think there's an argument to be made that this borders on, I think, some kind of serious literature. To be honest, it wasn't what I expected at all.
No, nor me.
Because at the beginning, having just read, firstly, I'd read a Louis L'Amour, and that's really fast and, you know, a bit tacky but fun. And at first, I thought I'm going to struggle with this because it was just such a change in mood and atmosphere or style of writing, and you know, it took me ages to read the first 2 chapters. I was like, oh, and then actually, I was just hooked on it. And then, of course, when we get to the incident and everything else, it's actually a really, really good book. So that's one I obviously finished, as you know, this week, as well as the audio version of that one.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I've read this week is this, which I've started, which is again a complete change of pace. But actually, I have to say, really darn good. It's quite exciting. It looks like we've lost Jim. He's obviously unplugged it or plugged it in, but I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying that. But I have been doing. I did start my first summer of sport. Which, you know, as the host of the event, I suppose I should really do that. Yeah. But it's a biography of. Hang on,
sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
About this, continuity. Is a biography of Jesse Owens, actually. Which is really interesting, and it's free on Audible. So that was nice. Yeah. So far, it seems pretty good.
Yeah. I heard, Alan, right before I died there that you're reading Zane Grey, Alan, or are you?
Yeah, well, it's because you said is it Riders of the Purple Sage? That was the one I was going to read next in terms of June on the Range. So I've never read it before, so you know. And then I've got a few more of his. They're all ebooks, so a few more of his for June on the Range. But yeah, that was going to be the next one.
Yeah. Have you read any Louis L'Amour?
Not this year. I did a few last year, but pre having BookTube channel. So when I was just kind of lurking in the background. But yeah, a few last year.
Yeah.
Oh, Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. The descriptions of the characters in Oxbow are so complete. I think I could paint their portraits. Yeah, I think that's a very good way of saying it, Karen. And of course, being an artist, you could probably paint their portraits. We have also Faith saying, I just found out the film The Searchers was based on a true story. Linda Booklady is reading the non-fiction account. I want to say Sean did that because in the first year of June in the Range, he read a non-fiction account of it. He then read The Searchers and then watched the film. He did a whole kind of package of The Searchers, which is, of course, really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't read the book though. Actually, I've only seen the film, so maybe I should read it. Aaron's here. Hey there, good to see you.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
So yeah, you were mentioning before Jim ran away to check on his hairdryer. You were mentioning Book Trek. No, I'm not taking part in that, but I'm guessing Jim is probably.
Yep.
So,
for sure.
Have you guys started reading anything for Book Trek yet, or?
Yep. I read one book so far, The Captain's Daughter by Peter David, which is a original series.
Oh, I just saw your video. Yeah, Sulu, right? Captain Sulu.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And it's quite it's an interesting story, but it also is tied into kind of because obviously you don't, I think, in any of the movies apart from which one is it? Is it Generations, where Kirk meets Sulu's daughter and then promptly gets vaporized or whatever happens to him before as part of the start of that film. And then but the whole book is kind of how Sulu met his daughter's mother, you know, what happened, and then there's little vignettes all the way through of like from the movies. So it's mostly set in the kind of the timeline of the movies. So ultimately it's when Sulu is captain of the Excelsior, and that's kind of how the book then winds up at the end. So he's then the captain of that ship, and that's what happens.
I love that. I love anything to do with the original crew. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of The Next Generation, but I don't have any of the books. I have no interest in reading any of those books. But I used to have tons of the original Star Trek books, which I got rid of most of them. But I have quite a few of them here, so I'm going to start delving into them once June on the Range is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the newer TV series?
I watched. We watched the first season of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah,
and I really liked it because I liked the character of Pike. But then we started watching the second season, and it just okay, this is kind of getting a little silly now. What's going on? And I just kind of lost interest in it. So I don't know. I might get back to watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched. I mean, I watched Enterprise and Voyager and Deep Space Nine. Like I watched them all because when I was younger, man, I was a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Huge. So I don't know if have you ever heard of the? It's on YouTube called Star Trek Continues, where these fans basically just continued on with the 5-year mission. There's like 8 episodes on YouTube. It's called Star Trek Continues, and I watched the last 2 of them actually yesterday, called To Boldly Go. I was in freaking tears. They do such a good job. Yeah, they're it's the original crew. You've got Kirk and Spock and Sulu and Chekhov, Uhura and Dr. McCoy, and they really do a good job to recreating the sets. And just the whole vibe of the series and the music, it's phenomenal. They do such a good job.
Is that the original actors or?
No, it's new actors. So that kind of throws you off a little bit at first. There's the guy who plays Kirk. His name is Vic Mignogna, and he's kind of responsible for the whole series. But he does a good job as Kirk.
Are they doing impressions of the actors though who played them?
Well, kind of, but not in an over-the-top way. Like the guy who plays Kirk, his facial structure doesn't really look too much like Kirk, but the way he dresses himself, the way he does the hair, and the way he carries himself, he's got the mannerisms like down pat. And once you start watching it, and you can get over the fact that it's not the original actors, it's really good, really good. And a lot of the episodes, they bring back actors from the original series. Like they've got.
There can't be that many to bring back.
There's quite a few. There, I think it was the episode "Who Mourns for Adonis" or whatever. Like the Apollo character, they bring him back in a bit part, and there's quite a few. And actually, James Doohan's son, I think it's Christopher Doohan, he plays Scotty in the series. Like his son plays Scotty. So
Shatner's still alive, and so is George Takei. So
but they hate each other, from what I understand.
Well, I was thinking it's quite ironic though that it's Sulu gets married and has a daughter, given obviously George Takei's private life.
Yeah.
So we can come back to that, but I just want to go through a few comments. I hope to finish Oxbow in the next day or two. I think I settled on a book about Arthur Ashe for Summer of Sport. Now that would be an interesting one. But Faith has already left us because she's gone off to watch the grandkids. Constance has arrived. Hi, Constance. Good to see you.
Hi, Constance.
And it looks like everybody talking to just each other. Yeah, so that's okay for now. I don't know. I feel like I missed something. I used to watch the original series as a child. I used to be on Sunday nights.
Yeah, repeats.
I enjoyed it, but I never watched really the Next Generation, none of the others.
I was mad about Star Trek when I was a kid. I got all the episode guides. I knew the episodes, and I got all the comics and all the books. It was a funny story. When my kids were little, I think I only had the 2 kids at the time, And I'd come home from work every day, and Star Trek: The Next Generation would be on. So we'd sit and we'd be eating supper, and we'd be watching The Next Generation. And then one day I put on an episode of the original series, and my son David looks up. He said, "That's not Star Trek." I almost lost a kid that day. Really? How dare you? You're not my son.
It's kind of a reversal Star Wars moment, I suppose.
Yeah.
You're not my son. I'm not your father.
But I like The Next Generation. It is good. I'm not interested in reading any books with those characters for some reason. I don't know why.
I did like the films, though. I did like the original series films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've never really got super pulled into the whole science fiction thing, or fantasy for that matter, really. So
yeah, it's a different type of, like, it's a genre of science fiction too, though. It's not like hardcore science fiction I've never really been into, but that kind of stuff, and Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of science fiction and that type of stuff, like, I like a lot, you know.
So what is, I mean, I used to have this with Sean as well all the time, but you know, what exactly, when you say hardcore science fiction, what, it's like got a lot of science in it? Is that basically?
Yeah, I think so. They get hardcore into the science, and there's not a lot of characterization, and not really a good, exciting plot. It's just more about the science and that kind of thing. You know, I guess it's hard to pinpoint, but I know it when I see it.
I suppose there's a question here for the both of you, not for me. But before that, we've got Lou saying hello. Hi, Lou.
Hi, Lou.
Oh, yeah.
Jenny asking, are you not a fan of the new Chris Pine films? So I suppose that goes to you two, because I have no idea.
Alan. I don't mind them, but, you know, my preference would be for, you know, either the original series, or I do like Strange New Worlds. I have to say, I agree with Jim that, you know, the Pike character and you know, having the Enterprise before Kirk was the captain is good, but
he's not like the Pike character from Dad's Army then.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
no, definitely not. But no, I mean the Chris Pine film just took it off in a, you know, it's like a different timeline, so it's not. You know, at least with Strange New Worlds, it's kind of within, you know, so it's kind of between, what would it be, Enterprise and the original series. But then I didn't like Discovery, so you know that.
I didn't watch Discovery. Did you watch that new, like, a fan-made film that came out like maybe 3 months ago, where they had Kirk digitally done? And it was a little 5-minute. I forget the name of it now. Damn it! Maybe someone in the comments can remember.
Well, but I'd be a bit scared if I were you, Jim, about looking at the comments in a minute.
Oh,
you're in a bit of trouble.
Oh!
I'm going to keep you in suspense as we just pop to Helen's one. We all have different tastes. I've never seen or read Star Trek, but let's go to Lila, who has this to say.
Let's do that.
Jim, you watched 2 episodes without me. You're not allowed to use my blow dryer anymore.
Oh, damn it. I let the cat out of the bag. I got to do something when I'm home on holiday.
Oh dear. So
yeah, I was in tears with those episodes. But the Chris Pine movies, I hated the last one. Like, there was 3 of them, Alan, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last one was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, the first one I could kind of stomach it. Okay, this is kind of cool, you know, and like I don't mind if there's going to be new actors in the parts.
Yeah.
Because at least they're bringing back the original Star Trek, the original characters, you know, and I don't mind if they get other actors playing the parts, but then the movie just went off on a tangent, you know, and there was no consistency with the original storyline. No. They just, the continuity was shot at that point. J.J. Abrams, I guess, and not interested.
No. He's good. I mean, he had a particular style and particular actors that I think he wanted in particular parts, and he obviously they were written with those actors in mind, and that there hasn't been any more made because I don't. I think whoever owns the franchise wants it to go in a particular way.
Yeah. Which isn't a way that fans are really a fan of, I don't think.
No.
But that I've got to find that. Hi, Gavin. I got to find that fan made. It was a fan. No, it was actually not a fan made film. It was an official film, Paramount film. It had Kirk in it, like William Shatner as Kirk, digitally done, and it was kind of the ending you wanted to see with Spock and Leonard Nimoy. Like there was actually actors who were doing the parts, and Shatner's and Nimoy's faces were wrote like digitally done on these.
They got married or something, or what?
No, like Spock.
Don't spoil it.
Well, and for the life of me, I can't remember the title of it. Otherwise, you could Google it and find out. But
I did see a funny Star Trek AI thing. Now I know you both are into. I'll send it to you. But it was AI, of course, with the Star Trek original series, but done as if it was a Soviet. Have you seen this? As if it was a Soviet expedition rather than an American. I suppose it's all nations in that one, but specifically as a Soviet Union space mission. It's hysterical.
That's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. That's like seeing Batman and Superman as Russian soldiers, like in the Elseworlds books, and you see Batman as this Russian guy. Yeah,
I think we will have to talk about Superman in a minute because less than a month. I'm counting this. You see, I'm not a huge. Of all these things, I'm a big Superman fan, right? So that is something at least I can discuss. Well, not the comic books so much, but the films. But so Gavin's here. Hi. Sorry, that seemed a bit dismissive. Hello, Gavin. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. My brain's already on the next thing. That's the problem. So I love the film of Andromeda Strain, but it is pretty dry. Anyone know if the book is the same?
That's Michael Crichton.
Crichton?
Yeah.
I never read the book.
I read it years ago, about 30 years ago. I think it is quite dry and quite sort of focused on the science about the whatever it is that crashes to Earth, and I seem to remember I enjoyed it, but I think that might just be because it's the sort of that Michael Crichton, bit like Jurassic Park, and the concept of the science behind fairly outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
He was one for describing the science for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Crichton. Almost to a fault.
But in what I've read, I don't know what I read. I found it quite enjoyable, his scientific writing.
Well, yeah, when they're describing how they clone dinosaurs and stuff, that was pretty cool. Jurassic Park and Lost World, I read them. Yeah. And then Timeline, he kind of was right. Yeah, it was good too, Yeah. But I could see it kind of straying into, okay, this is getting a little too much. Just let's move on, kind of thing. But I've only read a few of his books, so I don't know.
I think more people need to read Preston and Child. Blah blah blah.
Right, Pendergast.
Yeah, the Pendergast series. Yeah.
My wife is so happy you got into those books because she loves those books.
I'm on a hiatus though, of course, because of June on the Range. But
me too.
If there was one of those set in the Old West, I'd probably read it. But they're great. They're so much fun. I mean, obviously not amazing, literary works, but they're just page turners, like literally. Like watching a film.
I'm more and more about reading stuff that's fun. I don't necessarily have to read something that's literary. I just want something that's fun, And those are fun. Those are really good books.
Yeah. I love the Giant Space Snow Globe. The third one is thanks to Simon Pegg, not his best work. Sad about Anton Yelchin. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, that's a guy who played Chekhov in the movie.
Yeah.
That was weird. He
Freak
was
accident? What happened?
well. He got crushed between the car and his garage door somehow. I think like a weird way to go. And he was on his way up. He was a good actor. You saw him in a lot of things. He did a good job as Chekhov, and then he died.
Yeah.
Like in a weird accident like that. So, yeah, that was sad. That was really weird, really strange.
I never heard of it. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, just a young guy.
Yeah.
In the Star Trek comics, there is an interesting story arc, Star Lost, about how Kirk met and fell in love with Carol, issues 73 to 75 from the 90s comic series. Now, I'm worried that Libra Paradiso pulled all that from his head.
he likes to throw in this stuff. Yeah, that must have been the DC comics, because Marvel did Star Trek for a while, then DC Comics did Star Trek, which lasted a little longer than the Marvel comics. So I'm thinking that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't think I collected them up to that point.
Howdy, Greg.
Greg.
Hi, Greg.
We'll have to have you on next week. We'll see if we can get you on. I don't know how the time difference works for you. I don't know. Do you know if he's on the east or west side, Jim?
Greg? No idea. I don't know where he is.
Jenny loves Pendergast too.
Yeah.
Only halfway through the series, though. Well, halfway through is still 200 books in or something.
Yeah, and they're still writing them.
Yes.
I'm behind. I got to get caught up on them myself.
Oh, he's on west side time. West side. Well, if around this time works for you, then Greg, we'll try and get you on with us. Assuming these guys will at least. Well, you probably can't. I don't know. You'll probably be back at work when you do. We'll sort it out anyway. We'll sort it out. We'll all get on at some point.
Well, I don't necessarily work every Friday and Saturday. Like my schedule's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So just let me know, and I can let you know.
Yes, Jim. We all need fun reads.
Yeah.
Yes, it's DC Comics. I discovered them recently in my collection. Nice.
You did a good job.
Speaking DC Comics, next month, James Gunn's Superman comes out. Final trailer was put out yesterday. What do we think, chaps?
I think it looks good. I'm a fan of Superman. I don't like the costume. Yeah,
Well, generally, or just in this one?
Just in this one. In this one, I don't like what they did with the costume, but
they were saying they made it more true. Like, you mean the S and
it's not more true though. He's got these shoulder pads, and you see all the wrinkles and stuff in the costume, and I just don't like it. And the way the collar is, and I would have liked to have seen Henry Cavill do another Superman, but I understand why James Gunn did it. He wanted a younger Superman. But it looks good. I mean, that being said, it looks good. So, I like we were talking about that last night when we saw the new trailer, my wife and I, and we'll probably go to the theater to see that. And that's saying a lot because we haven't been to the theater in a long time, and we don't go to the theater. So we might go see that.
I think I will as well. What about you, Alan?
I haven't seen the recent trailer, but yeah, I would pretty much certainly go to the cinema and see it.
Yeah.
I think it's the sort of film that it's the old cliche. You need to see it on the big screen.
Yeah,
I think as well. There's the power, for me at least, of the return to John Williams' music. It just brings so much.
Yeah.
It's like it's too entwined with that role. I think to have changed it with Henry Cavill and go with Hans Zimmer. I think it was, which is great and it's nice music. But it
gets the heart pumping. Honestly, once that music starts, oh my God, it takes you back to your childhood watching the original. Yeah,
definitely. It's so good because they even did it, didn't they, in Smallville? I think they managed to somehow they got the license to play it when the end he does the transformation. They're still able to use it because it's too synonymous,
Yeah. It's like James Bond. It's like the James Bond music. You don't have James Bond without that theme, really.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Farrah's excited, so there we go for Superman. Yeah. Well, and Jenny, there's a couple of films I want to see, and the only reason I've kept my Cineworld card. Now there is one film, gents, moving off the books again, that's coming out, which is I don't know if you've seen it, which is the trailer for it, which is a reboot of Naked Gun.
Oh,
No.
with Liam Neeson.
Have you seen the trailer, Jim?
I haven't seen the trailer. I heard about it though.
Well, it's a very short trailer. I don't see why we can't actually just watch it now. We're all together. You see, why not?
Go on then.
Yeah, I will pull it up. Trailer. It did make me. I mean, it looks stupid as hell, but I have to say it.
That's the whole point, though.
It is, yeah. Now, how do we do this? So, present, share screen. Okay, share screen. The Naked Gun. Also share audio. Okay. Share. So bring it in here. Add to stage. There we go. Okay, it's up. And hopefully we can hear it.
Multiple SWAT units responding to hostage situation.
Hey, little girl, stop. What do you want, little one? Your ass.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Who are you?
Frank Drebin, Police Squad. It's a new version.
That's the sound of the police.
Me, Frank Jr. Love you. Hey, Dad. Boy, do I miss you.
Sound of the police.
Oh boy, that's funny.
There we have it.
That's the first time. Yeah, it's his son, right? That's right. It's his son.
It's his son, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's kind of
he's a
funny
good-
that Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen are so similar names as well. It's kind of.
He's actually a good choice. He's a good choice for that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I think it's going to be stupid, but probably quite funny. I mean, Seth MacFarlane, you know, I think he'll do it justice, to be fair, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if
Because I
I'll
thought
go
it was.
see it at the
Sorry?
theater or not. I might not go see it at the theater, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, but we have quite a few comments since that was on. So, Libra Paradiso recommend John Byrne's Superman from the 80s, Grant Morrison All-Star Superman from the 2000s, and Gil Kane 80s action comics run, which I read inspired by Donna's beautiful film. And yeah, that's cool. And Jenny, I discovered this yesterday, Jenny. Spaceballs 2 has an official trailer out now.
I saw that one. Yeah.
It's coming out in 2027.
Yeah. Mel Brooks is still.
Mel Brooks
still
is going to be 100 or something, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Rick Moranis will be coming back apparently, which is nice because he was making a bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
And then he had an issue where he got assaulted in the street.
Really?
Yeah, some guy came up and just clocked him. And you know, he's a 60-year-old man, something man at this point. And I think that kind of delayed. Yeah. But he'll be apparently in the movie, which is good.
Obviously, John Candy won't be, sadly.
What's that?
John Candy won't be, sadly.
No.
Joan Rivers. No.
Yeah.
I love the Naked Gun. Greg says, I keep thinking John Williams is dead, and I'm always surprised when he has a new film credit.
Yeah, great musician, great music, John Williams.
Best line of Naked Gun, that's classified, yeah. Liam Neeson's the last guy I would have guessed for the role. Yeah, but I think Farrah looks like it could be quite good. He could be quite good at that. So, yeah, but no. Reading plans for the weekend. Anything coming up?
Alan?
Probably get the Zane Grey, I think, probably is first up, and then I don't know. I don't think it's a particularly long book, but yeah, we'll see where we get to after that. But that's the next next in the queue.
Good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've just been reading short stories. I just got from this Best of the West series, and those are all short stories. And you know, I don't know if you've watched my videos, but these are brilliant. They're so well, you know, they chose well with these. You've got writers like Frank Gruber and Max Brand, Ernest Haycox, Clay Fisher, who is Will Henry. That's a pseudonym for Will Henry, and Steve Frazee. These every story I've read in these books has just been brilliant. So well done. So I'll probably be delving into that. I'm still debating whether I'm going to finish Riders of the Purple Sage or not. You know,
Yeah.
Is there must be a film of it, is there, Jim?
I think so. I think there has been.
It's funny you don't hear about it very much, though.
It would have been like an old film.
What about film watching? Maybe any westerns in the pipeline, Jim? Set to watch?
I watched that Seven Men from Now. What else have I seen? I was watching some Have Gun Will Travel episodes with Paladin, which they're kind of fun. I think there's some up on YouTube. So I was just going through YouTube and looking for old westerns and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to have to watch a couple westerns this weekend, I think. Nothing specifically planned, though.
Alan, True Grit, 2010.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm pretty sure I've got it on DVD, so I just need to go and look on the shelves and see where it is. And yeah, I think I need to rewatch it and then I probably need to watch the John Wayne one as well.
Yeah, well, it could be fun, kind of double bill.
Yeah,
they're fun back to back. Like 310 to Yuma, those are a couple of good films too, and they're both just as enjoyable. Yeah, like Glenn Ford. Like I'm convinced Glenn Ford did such a good part as Ben Wade, does such a good job. Yeah, and I'm almost convinced that Russell Crowe kind of based his character on Glenn Ford's performance in the original movie. You know, yeah,
because that is a good remake as well, isn't it? It really,
really enjoyed it.
Because I saw, I don't know what site I was looking on, but they had some remakes that I didn't even know existed. So there's a Red River remake in the 80s. I think. There's a Stagecoach remake in the 90s. And I just thought to myself, though, with those, I don't know, they just didn't look right. You know, I didn't even try it out. You gotta watch
those 80s and 90s remakes, boy. Yeah.
I mean, with Stagecoach, it's so iconic. You cannot imagine anybody else in that film, really. I mean,
yeah.
So
some films shouldn't be remade.
No,
just let them stand alone.
That's true. Lou's saying, "Oh my gosh, what is wrong with people?" I guess that's in reference to Rick Moranis, probably. John Williams and Howard Shore are two of the best at writing scores. Helen has to pop off. Have a great weekend, all. Have a great weekend, Helen.
Hi, Helen.
Lou, I pulled the bookmark on Riders of the Purple Sage. Libra Paradiso. Big Country, maybe my favorite Western. Is it based on a book? It is based on a short story. Is it Louis L'Amour did Big Country?
I don't recognize that as a Louis L'Amour.
Does he just use that as a title for like a volume of stories?
I don't think it has been as a Louis L'Amour. No.
Is it based on a book? Is Big Country based on a book? Yes, Big Country is a 1958 film adaptation of a novel. The novel, entitled Ambush at Blanco Canyon, was written by Donald Hamilton. It was serialized in the Saturday Evening Post before being published as a book. And of course, the film stars Gregory Peck, Gene Simmons, Carol Baker, Charlton Heston, and Beryl Ives. So there you go. Wonderful Google. So it was. Richard Boone as Paladin. I love that show.
Yeah, he did a good job. I know there's another Western I watched too. I can't recall it offhand right now. But yeah, that's a good series.
I was watching both Maverick and Bonanza.
I love Maverick.
The other day. They were
Yeah.
great. They're great though. They're fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Bonanza. It's of course, little like what's the word?
Little hokey.
Cheesy, maybe. Yeah,
Little
but
cheesy.
Yeah.
it's
I
so
grew up
fun.
on Bonanza and
It
Maverick.
was fun, and Maverick's great. James Garner's great though.
Yeah.
It really is good.
I've got the first 3 or 4 seasons on DVD for Maverick.
Uh-huh.
And even Jack Kelly. I'm a fan of Jack Kelly. I got both James Garner's biography and biography on Jack Kelly up on my shelf here too. Like Jack Kelly stuck with it through the whole series. And James Garner, he only did 3 seasons or something like that, 2 or 3 seasons. And then, there was court issues and stuff like that. He wanted more money because of they were driving them like animals back in the day. Those actors, they had to go to appearances and all kinds of stuff. They just were not getting paid appropriately for what they were doing. And James Garner made a stand, whereas Jack Kelly just said, "Okay, no, I'm just going to keep doing it." But such a great show.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just amazing that so much of this is still available online to watch, and it's great. Really, really good. What have we got here? Richard Boone, Paladin. We've done that. Logan is an inspired remake of Shane. Let's watch Old Henry. That's an order.
Seen that
Old Henry?
Twice. Old Henry with what the hell's that actor's name? Tim Blake Nelson. It's fairly recent. It's fairly recent. Look it up. It's a really good movie. Yeah.
2021. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Lila who said that. I didn't see who said that. Yeah. She's
asking you to watch it with her tonight, maybe. So.
She loves that movie. Yeah, she's not a big Western. Well, she is too, because we watched Hell on Wheels, which she loved. And that's a really good show. I love that show. But Old Henry's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's recommended. If you guys haven't watched that, watch that movie.
Yeah. He's not the guy from the Buster Scruggs or whatever.
Yeah, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah. That's messed up. That's why I can never find the book. Different title. Thank you. Yeah. So, there was something I was going to say, completely forgotten. Oh well. I don't know. Perhaps we'll wind up there, gents. I'm getting a bit hot here, actually. So we'll probably wind up that. Obviously, stay behind a bit. You don't have to rush off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, of course, to Jim and Alan for joining me. I'm sure we'll be back again soon, possibly even joined by Greg, the ghost reader in the sky. And we'll see if we can work that out. And thanks again for your kind words to Sean. I'm sure hopefully he'll be watching this, or at least watching it on catch up. And obviously, feel free to email him or send him messages. I'm sure he would be absolutely thrilled to receive them. Believe his email address is just seandstandfast@gmail.com, probably. But you can find them usually on his video. What do you call it? Descriptions. So there we have it. So thanks, everybody. And of course, I'm sure most of you are. But if you are not subscribed to Jim or Alan, please head over to their channels, Mystery and Mayhem and Alan's Reads, respectively, and check them out. And we shall see you all again very soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.